I never thought the words of my own daughter would cut me so deep. "Don't interfere in our lives, Dad," she snapped one Sunday afternoon, her voice sharp as broken glass. She stood in the doorway of the very house she grew up in. The house her mother and I built brick by brick. Behind her, her husband, Mark, hovered, smug as ever, like he'd been waiting for this moment. I wanted to argue, but my tongue froze. My only child, the little girl who once begged me to chase monsters, from under her bed, had just shoved me into the role of an unwanted intruder. I forced a smile, nodded, and walked away. But as I closed the gate, I made myself a promise. If she didn't want me in her life, fine, but I wouldn't let her throw her future away without a fight. My name is Henry. Most people just call me Grandpa now. I'm 72, widowed, and retired. I thought these years would be peaceful. Gardening, fishing, telling bedtime stories to grandkids. But peace doesn't come easy when your daughter drifts away under the wrong influence. Mark, my son-in-law, looked charming on the surface, but beneath that smile was arrogance and greed. He treated Emily like a trophy and worshipped money like it was his only god. At family dinners, I'd warn her gently, "Emily, remember, quick riches often come with chains." She would smile politely, but her eyes said, "Stop embarrassing me." Then one day, she stopped inviting me at all. That's when she told me the words that burned into my soul. "Don't interfere." So I stayed quiet. But silence gave me time to observe. On the outside, their life looked perfect. Expensive cars, vacations, glossy photos, a house in a gated community. But I heard whispers. Neighbors spoke of shady business deals. Old friends hinted that Mark was borrowing money under Emily's name. My gut told me the truth. When the bubble burst, it would be my daughter drowning in the wreckage. And a father's duty doesn't end just because a child says it should. I started quietly. I hired a private investigator, an old friend from my factory days, a retired cop. What he uncovered chilled me to the bone. Mark was knee-deep in fraud, taking out loans, laundering money, gambling away cash, and all of it under Emily's name. If the authorities came knocking, my daughter, not Mark, would be the one in handcuffs. That night, I sat in my empty living room, staring at my late wife's photo. "Mary," I whispered, "our little girl doesn't see the cliff she's walking toward, but I do, and I can't just let her fall." I built a case. Every document, every photo, every witness statement. Then I handed it to the authorities anonymously, but I didn't stop there. I also contacted Emily's old college friend Sarah, now a lawyer, and arranged for her to quietly represent Emily when the storm hit. It didn't take long. Within 3 months, police raided Mark's office. His empire collapsed. His face was splashed across newspapers, no longer smug, but pale with fear. That night, Emily called me. "Dad, they took him away. They say everything's in my name. I don't know what to do." I closed my eyes, took a breath, and let the plan unfold. "Call Sarah. She'll help you. I already spoke to her." There was silence, then a choked whisper. "You knew? You interfered?" "Yes," I said firmly. "Because I love you. Because I wasn't going to let you carry his sins." For the first time in years, she didn't hang up. She cried. The trial dragged on for months. Mark's empire crumbled. His so-called friends vanished like smoke. But thanks to the evidence, Sarah proved Emily was nothing more than a pawn. She walked free. When she stepped out of court, her shoulders slumped, her eyes swollen from tears. Then she ran straight into my arms. "I'm sorry, Dad," she whispered. "I told you not to interfere, but you saved me." I held her close. "A father's love interferes, Emily. Always." Life wasn't magically easy after that. Emily had debts to untangle, trust to rebuild, and a heart to heal. But she found strength she didn't know she had. She went back to school, finished her degree, and started working honestly, finally standing on her own 2 feet. And me? I didn't just get my daughter back. I got my family back. Now Emily brings my grandkids over every weekend. They fill My quiet house with laughter, running through the same garden she once played in. Sometimes Emily looks at me with a sad smile and says, "Dad, I thought you were interfering, but you were protecting me." I just chuckle and pat her hand. That's the thing about fathers. We interfere with your future, so you can still have fun. Because love doesn't always stay silent. Because sometimes the only way to love your children is to interfere, even if they hate you for it.